Hello guys, welcome back. In this lecture, let's quickly implement the push method for the singly linked list. And if you haven't watched the previous video, then make sure to go watch it first. Otherwise, you will not understand what is going on here, right? So here in this video, we'll be implementing the push method, which will basically add the nodes into the singly linked list. Okay, if there is already a node, then it will add the node, the new node which we are going to push as a tail of the node which we already have. Okay, so basically what happens in a push method is basically pushes the elements in the end, right? It pushes the elements every time at the end of the array in case of arrays, right? So the same terminology we are going to use here. We are going to add a new node at the end every time we use a push method. Okay, it's simple as that. Okay, so for that, what we have to do first, we have already implemented this push method. Okay, I mean, we have not implemented, at least we have added this method name here. So here, few things we have to consider. If there is no head, okay, so in that case, what does that mean is that singly linked list is totally empty, right? So in that case, what we have to do, we have to set the head and tail to the new value passed. Okay, so whatever value we are going to pass, that is going to be the first element, and that is going to be the head and tail of the node. Okay, because if you remember in the previous video, I've said like head is going to be the node which is the at the very beginning, and tail is going to be the node which is going to be at the very end. Okay, since we have only just one node, since we are going to push this node into an empty list, that means the head and tail are going to be same, right? It's not that much complicated, right? Okay, and before this, first we have to create a node. Node from the value. Okay, so let's quickly do that. New, or let's say SL node. Okay, or let's make it new node only. That makes much sense, right? Okay, so new, and then node. Here we have to pass whatever value we are going to get. Simple as that. Okay, so we will have our new node ready. Now set the head and tail if the new value is passed. Okay, if there is no head. Okay, so let's quickly implement this one. So if there is no this dot head. Okay, so in that case, what we have to do, this dot head equals to new node. Okay, and what I have mentioned, head and tail to the new node, means we have to set the new node, whichever we are, whatever value we are passing, we are creating a node. That node is going to be the head as well as the tail. Okay, so this dot tail equals to this dot head. Okay, why I wrote it like this? So in case if I want to change anything, then I just have to change it at one place. I don't have to change it in multiple variables, right? So that is why I'm just referencing this thing, like I'm just storing the reference here. Okay, so that is why I wrote it like this. Okay, now if there is already a node, then what we have to do? Okay, let me quickly. Okay, if there are already some nodes, then in that case, what we have to do? See, in push method, we are going to add the node, whichever value we are going to pass in the push method, we are going to add the node at the very end. That means that node is going to be the tail every time, right? So all we have to do is we just simply have to set the tail. Okay, so this dot tail dot next, because in the current tail we are going to store the new node, right? So this one we are going to reference to the new node. Okay, new node like this, and then what we have to do, we simply have to update the value of the tail. So earlier the tail was this dot head, right? So let's say we have just one node, we have pushed just one node. Okay, so that is going to be the head and the tail both, right? So what we are doing, we are simply updating, we are simply referencing a new node as the next value of that particular tail. Okay, because in the node you will see we have value and next, right? Node contains the current value of the node and then the reference of the next node, right? That is how the nodes are linked to each other, if you know, right? So that is what I'm going to do. I'm simply going to store the new node as a next value of the current tail, okay? And then what I will do, I'll simply update the tail equals to, okay? So that means earlier our new node was this head, right? Now since we have pushed again, so our new node will be the new value which we are going to pass, okay? So it will be something like this, okay? So let's say we have node 1, okay? So singly linked list was empty, SSL was empty, okay? So in first step, the new node is going to be head and tail, right? Because the tail dot next is null right now, because if you see here in the node, the next is by default null. That means we don't have any next. That is going to be our single node, or that is going to be a last node, right? So whichever has the next value as null, that we consider as the last node or a tail node, right? Okay, so here I was right. So we have used one push method with node 1 value. So we have a new node in the singly linked list, which is going to be the head and the tail both, right? Now if we push again a new node, okay, second step, we are pushing a new node 2. So what we have to do, we simply have to store this new node as the next of the current tail, right? We have to reference this new node as a next of the current node 1's tail, okay? And then what we have to do, we simply have to update the tail. That means this new node is going to be the tail, a new tail. So this will hold next value as null, okay? Simple as that, okay? It's nothing much complicated, I would say, okay? So yeah, this way we have already implemented our push method. All we have to do is we simply have to increment the length of the array, okay, whenever we are pushing a new node, right? So let's do that quickly. This dot length plus plus, okay? Now what we are going to do, see, we are pushing a new node every time in the singly linked list, right? So what this one will do, this one will simply increment the current length of the singly linked list. So right now we have by default as 0, right? So this one will simply increment the length, and at the end we simply have to return the linked list, okay? And how we can return the linked list? So that is something which can be confusing for you guys if you are not familiar with the classes that much, okay? So if you have noticed, I'm using this dot head, this dot tail every time, right? So what is this right now? So this is nothing but this is the singly linked list, okay? So if I console log this, what is value of this, okay? Okay, and here I'll simply return this, okay? So this one is going to return the singly linked list, okay? Before that, we will just see like how this singly linked list or this keyword is working, okay? So we have our push method, so let's quickly use it. Let's see if we can, okay, it's already open, okay? So let me just quickly stretch it a little bit so you guys can see clearly what's going on, right? So till here, okay? So yeah, now what we have to do, we simply have to use our singly linked list class, or I think I have created the new list somewhere, or let's create a new singly linked list, right? Let new SLL equals to new singly linked list, okay? So this one I'm going to use here, okay? So okay, so something happened here. Don't paste the code, dev tools reviewed yourself. You could allow attackers control. Please type allow pasting. So I'll simply copy this whole thing. Okay, I'll paste it here. It's not working actually. Yeah, now I think it will work. Okay, so if I paste the singly linked list from here, new SLL, sorry. Okay, singly linked list, as you can see, I'm getting a singly linked list which have head as null, tail as null, and length is 0. Right, that means this linked list is totally empty right now. So if I use new SLL dot push, as you can see, it is already started referring me, or yeah, suggesting me that we already have a push method. So let's push 1 2 1 2. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so what is the value? Okay, the spelling is incorrect, but that doesn't matter, right? See, the value for this is this singly linked list. That means that this keyword which we are using here, right, it is pointing to the singly linked list class. That is how we are able to access the properties which are available in this particular data structure, this particular class, right? So it's nothing much complicated. See, whenever you are working on the classes, whenever you're using this, then you simply have to keep in mind that this will point to that particular class or that particular object. It's nothing that much complicated, right? So that is how we are getting the console in the console log, this singly linked list. Okay, now if you see, after using this push method, I am getting some value here. So now the head is updated. Head is this 1212, and the next is null because this is the only variable, only node we have right now. Okay, and tail is again this same node because we don't have any other node. So head and tail are going to be the same node if it is the first push. Okay, so let's use push again 1 2 2 3. Okay, let's use this one. So now if I expand this, as you can see, the head is 1212 and the tail is 1223. Okay, and if I expand head, now head dot next is referencing to 1223. That means now the head variable or head node is referencing to the, or we can say basically the head node knows who is the next node after that particular node. Okay, so in the next value, it have stored 1223, that new node, as a next value of this head. And then what we have done, we have simply updated the value of tail, right, to the new node. So that is how we are getting the tail as a new node. Okay, and if you expand the tail dot next is null. That means this is the last element we have, or last node we have in the singly linked list. Okay, so yeah, this is all about the singly linked list push method. Okay, so if you want, you can take a screenshot of this particular thing, because I don't want you to copy and paste this code. I don't want to provide any reference so that you simply copy and paste it. That way you will not learn anything. If you type it by your own, then only you are going to learn like what is happening at each and every step. Okay, in the data structures. That is why I'm not giving you like the ready-made code for the data structures from this in these lectures, right? I'm simply asking you to take a screenshot so that you can write on your own. Okay, this way you will learn these things little bit faster, right? So yeah, this is all about the push method in the singly linked list. Next, we are going to see the pop method, or let's see what other method we can learn in the next lecture. Okay, so this is it for today. See you in the next one.